Okay, guys, so the latest episode in the brand new series of Doctor Who Dinosaurs on the Spaceship aired on 8th of September 2012. Um, Sorry for the delay of this review as I have been really busy with my college work. It is a very important year concerning my education as it's the second year of college and it is my last year at college. So I've had massive workloads, I've had no time to do the review. Ideally I wanted to do this review a lot earlier and this is the only opportunity I've had all week. So sorry about that if you've wanted me to review this episode. But anyway, on with the review you've been waiting for, Dinosaurs on the Spaceship. First of all, I'll start off by talking about the dinosaurs. The CGI on the dinosaurs is quite impressive, although there are parts where you can tell that it is a bit fake, but then again you have to look at it as a low budget TV show that it is, and it's made by BBC. But it is pretty good CGI, and also the puppetry and the animatronics are also very good, especially the scene with the Doctor, Rory and Brian on the dinosaur when they're like driving it around basically. And also the CGI of the spaceship, which is a Silurian Ark, which I was quite surprised about. It's a good nod to the classic episode Doctor Who and the Silurians, as there was a Silurian guarding the Silurian base. Sorry, did I say Silurian? I meant there was a dinosaur at the Silurian base, basically. And yeah, that's a good reference, good continuity. So at the start of the episode, the Doctor gets new companions, Queen Nefertiti and Riddle, and he recruits them to aid him on a mission to like have a look at this precious cargo on this spaceship, which turns out to be the dinosaurs. And the ship is like on a course towards Earth, and it is targeted by another ship which has locked missiles onto it as it's fast approaching Earth. It's a danger. Meanwhile, back in Ledworth, the ponds are fitting a light bulb, and we see the character Brian Williams, played by Mark Williams, who played Ron Weasley's father in Harry Potter films, and his name Brian, it's Rory's father, and the TARDIS materialises around them. I can't remember the last time TARDIS materialised around the characters. I think it was in Let's Kill Hitler, but I'm not 100% sure. So that's a good continuity as well. Yeah, this episode has quite a few sexual references, which is a bit odd, but I'll go into that later on. As after they go on the spaceship, they like investigate the dinosaurs and stuff, and the Doctor, Rory and Brian are transported to the engine room of the ship, or the Ark, whatever you want to call it. And the engine room is actually a beach, and it is the same beach that was used in Doomsday, Journey's End, and also The Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone. But it's not the actual same setting like in the story, if you understand what I'm talking about. And that's quite good, it's quite imaginative. They get chased by pterodactyls down the beach, and I must say the CG on the pterodactyls is pretty awe-inspiring. They go and run into a cave to get away from the pterodactyls, and in this cave there are two robots, and I must say they look really awesome. And in the Series 7 Part 1 trailer analysis video, which I did when the trailer for this series was released, I mentioned during that about these guys, and I said that they made me chuckle a bit. But now looking at the episode, and I think that these are really annoying. They look impressive, don't get me wrong. They were used in another CBBC children's show. It wasn't Sarah Jane Adventures. It's similar to the ones from Sarah Jane Adventures. I thought that at first, but it isn't. It's a completely different show. I think it was a game show or something. Can't remember the name of it because I don't watch kids' TV, obviously, as I'm 17 years old now. The voices were just annoying, and that was one of the worst things about this episode. And the robots took the Doctor, Rory, and Brian to the centre of the spaceship, or the Ark. And at the centre of the Ark, there is another spaceship which landed there, and it is operated by a guy called Solomon. Now, Solomon is played by David Bradley, who was also in the Harry Potter films. He played Filch, who was like the caretaker of Hogwarts. And I must say that Solomon is one of the best things about this episode. He's a character who you just really want to hate. That's like with the later circumstances, because when he's first introduced, he seems to be quite friendly, but when the Doctor finds out that the ship or Ark was operated by the Silurians, he asks where did they go, and Solomon shows his true colours. And I must say, David Bradley plays the character very well. I must say he was very widely chosen for the role, and he's a very good antagonist for the story. So I'll talk about the other characters now. Amy, Nefertiti, and Riddle have been left, obviously, because the other three, the Doctor, Rory, and Brian, were transported to the engine room. And Amy just investigates, just knowing that she'll see the Doctor, Rory, and Brian again at some stage. And Nefertiti and Riddle like flirting throughout the episode, and this is where I'm going to talk about the sexual innuendos what I just mentioned earlier. I'll start off by talking about Brian's sexual innuendo. In the bit where the dinosaur is sniffing his trousers, the Doctor asks him, "What have you got in your trousers?" And then Brian says, "All in my balls." And at first I thought, oh my god, I can't believe you just said that in Doctor Who. But then he says, golf balls. So, if you're my age, you'll know what I'm talking about. Kids, probably not yet. Maybe in a few years' time when they watch this episode again. Another sexual innuendo is said by Riddle when he's flirting with Nefertiti, and it says, "What you need is a man with action," or something like that. And he says, "and with a big gun." So I won't say any more about that. I'll talk about another innuendo later, but going on with the story, Amy discovers that the Ark has been operated by Silurians. She discovers a message by a Silurian, and it is the same actor who played one of the Silurians, one of the male Silurians, I should say, in The Hungry Earth and Cold Blood, and then later on in The Wedding of River Song. So that is a good nod to continuity there. As I said before, good nod to Doctor Who and the Silurians, as that both featured the Silurians and the dinosaurs as the dinosaur god in the Silurian base. So, talking more about Solomon, he's paralysed as a dinosaur attacked him, and he can't walk. Like, his legs are basically all messed up, and the Doctor is forced to help him out basically, because if he doesn't, his friends will die, he will die. So that's a good subplot of this episode. And well, he does fix his legs, but after he fixes his legs, he runs away, and Rory and Brian go on board a dinosaur, and bear in mind that they are chased by these pathetic robots, which I said earlier in this video. And yeah, I just can't stand their voices. I don't know what it is. They're just so annoying. They look very impressive, but I don't know. It's more for the kids, really. Those robots. This episode is more for kids, but it is a good episode in my opinion. They ride the dinosaur, and then later on, they're obviously captured, and Solomon can walk now, but he can barely walk. He's got a walking stick, and he kills the dinosaur, unfortunately, because he discovers that Queen Nefertiti is on board, and she is a more precious prize to him than the dinosaurs. So he demands to the Doctor that he brings her to him, and eventually does kidnap Nefertiti, but initially the Doctor refuses, and because of his refusal, it leads to the consequence of the dinosaur sadly getting killed, and that may upset the children a bit. So that scene between the dinosaur and the Doctor was very emotional. It was very good acting by Matt Smith once again, and Solomon kidnaps Nefertiti as the whole gang, what the Doctor forms at the start of the episodes, to get back together. Nefertiti's kidnapped, but before she's kidnapped by Solomon and the robots, there is another sexual innuendo, and this time he says, "I am going to break her in. Say no more." So now the Doctor has a crisis. He has to save the ship, as now the ship that is controlling the missiles has sent missiles towards the ship. I keep calling it the ship. It's the Ark, Silurian Ark, and the Doctor has to figure out a way to stop the missiles, because they can't stop the missiles. It won't cancel the target. So that's a bit confusing, really. But anyway, he manages to find this thing at the center of the Ark, and he uses Rory and Brian to steer the Ark away, and Solomon's ship flies away from the Ark. He finally escapes the demagnetization, and he looks like he's going to get away with it until the Doctor transports onto Solomon's ship, and he brings this cube thing on board. It's not a cube; it's a geometric shape. I couldn't really tell as you all saw it for like a few seconds, and Solomon threatens Nefertiti's life, and basically Nefertiti just trips Solomon over, and Solomon is left on the ground, basically paralysed, because don't forget he can hardly walk, and also the stupid robots are disabled, thank God, and Nefertiti is rescued. Now I thought it was a tad bit easy, but you know, it's early on in the series, you expect that. It is a good episode anyway, and Solomon gives the Doctor a choice. He offers him a bargain, but after he offers him a bargain, the Doctor refuses to save his life, and he leaves the geometric shape on Solomon's ship, and the missiles are locked onto that basically, and they basically they're locked onto Solomon's ship now, and the Doctor leaves Solomon to die. Now, a lot of viewers have complained that this was out of character, and well, I kind of do agree. It is a bit out of character, but I've always said all along that I wanted Matt Smith's Doctor to be a lot darker, and finally we get to see the more darker side of Matt Smith's incarnation of the Doctor, and he plays it really well. So he leaves Solomon to die basically. He takes Nefertiti back to the Ark. The missile explodes the ship. Boom, bang. Solomon is dead. Everybody's happy. Everybody goes home. Riddle and Nefertiti are basically together. We all saw it coming, didn't we? I mean, come on. They were flirting entirely through the episode, and I'll talk about these characters more in depth now. Nefertiti, I felt, was a bit annoying, especially at the start of the episode. I mean, she was trying to go on to the Doctor, and I just didn't really like that thing. I just thought that was a bit rushed, as obviously she'd been in an adventure with the Doctor before, but it was off screen. And Riddle actually didn't mind. I thought he was quite a good character, and maybe he might return, but who knows, as the Silurian is coming back. You know the one I mean, the one from The Good Man Goes to War. So, oh yeah, also the Sontaran Commander Strax is also returning later on. So now Amy and Rory have been taken back home, but before they're taken back home, Brian has requested something something he wants to see to the Doctor. So, and the thing he requested was to look at planet Earth from space, and I must say it's a really nice scene. It's a very good imagination by the writer of this episode, Chris Chibnall, and he did a really great job with this episode. And if you've not seen this episode yet, then what are you waiting for? Watch it on iPlayer or I don't know, BBC Three whenever it's repeated. Well, overall, I give this episode a 8 out of 10. Initially, I gave this a 7 out of 10, but I've rewatched it and I actually like it a bit more now, and it is kind of on par with Asylum of the Daleks, but Asylum of the Daleks has been made a bit more confusing because this episode takes place roughly 10 months after Asylum of the Daleks, okay? And at the very start of Asylum of the Daleks, Amy and Rory were like all falling out, they weren't talking, they divorced, and now all of that seems to be forgotten about. So that's a bit confusing, but yeah, that's about it really. And Brian travels, well, I presume he travels with the Doctor, and he sends postcards back home to Ledworth, where Amy and Rory live, and there's postcards of all sorts of locations, and there's also a postcard which he sends, and this is also very good imagination by Chibnall, and it is a postcard of a planet called Sileria, and it's full of dinosaurs basically, and on the side it shows a photoshopped image of the TARDIS. Now, this image of the TARDIS is taken from a promotional image which was used for Series 2, which was David Tennant's first full series as the 10th Doctor. And obviously he had a different TARDIS to Matt's, as Matt's TARDIS is more blue and it looks more sort of retro and fresher, if you know what I mean. And Matt Smith's TARDIS has the St. John Ambulance logo on the right hand side of the front door, whereas David Tennant's TARDIS, and you could say Christopher Eccleston's TARDIS as well as everyone has seemed to have forgotten about Christopher Eccleston nowadays, and the St. John's Ambulance is not on that TARDIS, so that is an error. So that was a bit disappointing, and obviously because I am a big fan of Doctor Who, sometimes I notice small things like that, and I point them out. But overall, I did really enjoy this episode, and that is pretty much everything I have to say about this episode. So I hope you found this review of mine very informative. I'm looking forward to next week's episode. Yeah, so far the series has been very good. I've enjoyed it from start to finish. So hopefully next time A Town Called Mercy will live up to its potential, as it is a western which features a half man, half cyborg, and I'm really excited for it. And I've always wanted a western episode, as the last western themed episode of Doctor Who was, of course, The Gunfighters, which was made way back in the 60s, starring William Hartnell as the first Doctor. So thank you very much for watching, and my next video shall be my review of A Town Called Mercy, and I shall be uploading that as soon as possible. So stay tuned and subscribe for more Series 7 reviews. Thank you very much.